Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Learn for, what is this, December the 16th, 2022. We're coming up on Christmas if you were celebrating that holiday. And we will be off next week. I have agreed to travel with my wife to Connecticut to see our daughter and son-in-law and two grandkids. So we're looking forward to that. And we will be celebrating Christmas and Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah still continues. But anyway, we will be off next week. I will be doing some posting on my regular posts, but there will be no live streams next week. So it's a little after 11:30. We're going to wait just a minute as people start to come in. Today we're going to focus on something that's a really important issue, and that is that people are really struggling with networking, and they have all sorts of excuses. Oh, I can't use LinkedIn, I can't be public, I don't want anybody to know what I'm up to, I don't want to self-promote, all those things. Well, the market's changing, the dynamics are incredibly different than they were three years ago. And so we want to focus on that. But first of all, we're going to do what we always do is we're going to talk about the job market. Now this week, yesterday, we were off just traveling. But yesterday, the states announced that there were 211,000 workers who filed new unemployment benefits in December the 11th. That was about 20,000 decrease previous weeks adjusted level. You know, the state report, look at the net and the adjusted numbers are down depending on the calculations. Now, this number of workers continuing, the number of workers continuing claim unemployment benefits was about 1.67 million, pretty close to where it was before, but that number is still slowly creeping up. Just under the pre-pandemic average of 7 million people. Now, more significantly, in my mind, is that the number of recruiting applications for unemployment benefits is at its highest level since early this year, suggesting that laid off workers are having more trouble finding new jobs in a cooling labor market. And we anticipate that to really accelerate a bit in the first and second quarter of next year. There has been some good economic news this week, but the question is, how bad will the recession be? Nobody knows for sure. I tend to subscribe to the banker side rather than the politician side, and no comment about it doesn't apply to who's in office. It's just more politicians tend to provide the best picture they can. In recession, there is an element of recession that's mental. And if people begin thinking there's going to be one and acting like there is one, you can have that recession, truth follows fact. But anyway, the bankers all think that it's a probability. The government is saying maybe 4.2%. The International Monetary Fund says, hey, if Jerome Powell wants to really curb inflation, he's going to have to allow the unemployment rate to jump up to 7.5%. That's a big number. That's multiple millions of people that'll be out of work. So that's just something you need to be aware of. This morning, Goldman Sachs announced that they will decide next month whether they're going to cut their workforce by up to 8%. Now, based on Goldman Sachs' latest employment numbers of 33,300 employees, that's about 3,000 people that could be added to the unemployment list. Plus, after Christmas, there will be seasonal workers. Now, if you're a manager or an executive, that's not really going to affect you. But you just need to be prepared. You need to follow the news, and the first clue that you get that there's going to be unemployment or that you're going to be unemployed. Gosh, I hope that you have done some preparation before you get the call to go down to HR or visit with your boss on a Friday afternoon. Now, let's talk about off-the-grid networking. And why is networking becoming more essential? I mean, it has always been important, but people have always just kind of played with it, or they've not done it because they've always been able to kind of find the next job and kind of go from job to job. And it was more like a career happens rather than a career planned. And in this new digital market with automation and a lot of technology controlling how candidates are sourced and screened, that career happens perspective doesn't work anymore. And it's going to become more problematic as we move forward over the next 3 to 5 years. there are projections that they're going to be within the next 5 to 7 years, more than 4 million people whose jobs are just going to be obliterated by automation. And that's going to happen as companies attempt to lower cost, maximize their profits for their shareholders, but also to be more efficient. Okay, so there are reasons that people don't want to do networking. First of all, they don't like the whole notion of having to reach out to somebody to have a connection. People are shy. People think, nobody. I don't like it when people do that to me, so they transfer that to everybody else. And it's just craziness. Why? Because if you don't do it, you're going to find yourself at a dead end career-wise. Some people don't network because it's corporate policy, and I've dealt with several clients that has been the case. And it has been problematic. Because they cannot do any posting, or if they do have a LinkedIn page, and LinkedIn is the global big platform, their activities are governed by corporate compliance. So there are things that they can't say or do, and it has to be strictly related to their company if they post anything. Then there is the whole notion of HR's applying prying eyes, and some executives genuinely do not care if you're looking for work, if you're trying to grow your career. But there are a lot of people who say that, and they're really kind of jerks about it. They're kind of they do bad things to people. And HR can, in certain environments, HR monitors what people post. If they're posting from their office computers, they certainly monitor that. If they're posting from their company cell phones, they monitor that. But more carefully, they're going to look at what you post on your website. Some companies track that very carefully. And then there's the whole issue of nosy or let's add jealous employees or colleagues who don't want you to get a better job, or they're going to use it against you politically to gain advantage against you. So you have nosy colleagues saying, "What are you doing? Why are you doing all that posting?" So a lot of people say, "Well, I just don't need to do it. I've got a good job. I don't need to worry." Well, that's wrong, because there are a lot of people that are going to lose their jobs that are doing a good job and have been with the company a long time, simply because you just forget the recession, just because of industry consolidation, restructuring, new technology. Millions of jobs are going to be eliminated. So if you are in one of those jobs, yes, you do need to be concerned. So there's consequences of ignoring the automation that's occurring now in recruiting. Now, keep in mind, we started off in the late 90s with just resume scanning. The big Fortune 200 companies were using it to reduce costs, but to get rid of bias and discrimination, and to improve their quality of recruiting so they could reduce their mishires. Well, they still have a problem with mishires, but there is some evidence that they're getting rid of some of the discrimination, personal and ethnic, racial, that were always baked into the system. But that's happening. Now they're going to use computers to source, and they're going to screen LinkedIn profiles in order to do that. So if you are precluded from using LinkedIn to post articles or to promote your brand, then that's going to you're going to be, for more than likely, going to be cut out of that type of candidate sourcing. So you're going to have to build a network to do it a little bit off the grid. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you, if you are not networked, if you're not on LinkedIn, you're going to have diminished job knowledge of the job availability. 70% of all the jobs are not posted. They are never posted. Automation dehumanizes the process. So the computer's going through, it's a numbers game. They're looking for good quality people. And you may be the best qualified person in an industry, but if you're not visible to the computers doing sourcing, you may never get called. So automation dehumanizes the processing, but building a network of connections can offset that dynamic. And number three, the third reason that you need to be concerned about automation is the real possibility. The real possibility this will limit your career. Okay, let's talk about networking 3.0 principles. First of all, the chances that you are going to remain with one company for your entire career are absolutely minuscule. My aunt, Hattie May, she worked for Southwestern Bell, now AT&T, in Terrell, Texas for almost 50 years, or maybe more than 50 years. Never worked for another company in her entire career. That just doesn't happen anymore. So the industry transformation, consolidation, and restructurings will drive job changes, and it's going to force relocations. Now, only 20% of executives have specific career goals. That's a problem in this new hyper-competitive market. If you're just going to go through, approach it as a life happens or a career happens point of view, then you're going to have some challenges with your career. You will have, 20% have definite goals, and fewer still have formalized career plans. Yogi Berra, the former New York Yankees catcher, famously said, "If you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else." And that's true with your career. So if you need to have a goal. With the goal, you're going to be more successful. You're going to be more fulfilled. It will be more enriching. Market dynamics are going to require this more intentional approach. So let's move on now, and the slides are slow to respond today because of the connection. I apologize. Um, well, I'm going to check one thing. For some reason, the system is not loading the slides. I thought I had all the technology agreed fixed today, and so we're going to just pull this up, and I'll share it. I'll do the share screen. Frustrating, but it is. I'm finding out that it's just the way of some of these systems. If you're not paying for their premium system, you get below adequate service, and so we're, I guess, being told to we're going to have to do that. So just a moment, and. I'm just what I'm doing, and why there's a reason for the delay here is that the system was not advancing the slides. And this is Respeak, which is an Austin-based retransmission company, and so obviously there's a problem with the internet connection. Although mine is usually pretty fast, and I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll proceed. I will be posting this later today, and I will re-record this if you want to do that. Okay, so we're going to play this. We're going to share the screen. And I'm going to drop in my keynote presentation so you can see it. Well, we've had a technical difficulty here and it's not loading, and I apologize for this very much.